It is possible to feel lacking and whole at the same time. Welcome to Jewish Meditation with Rabbi G. We are continuing our series of ancient wisdom for contemporary living. This week is coming Shabbat. In synagogue, besides the regular Torah portion, there's a special portion that is read, and it's the beginning of a series. Around this time of the year, we read 4 special portions. This one is called Machatzit HaShekel. It's called Parshat Shekalim. We read about the mitzvah that in the times of the temple, there was a tax, a yearly tax that had to be given every year. Its use was to buy animals for sacrifices and so on, but it was a yearly tax that everyone had to give, called the Machatzit HaShekel, the half a shekel. Everyone had to give the same amount. It was half a shekel. The rich were not permitted to give more. The poor were not permitted to give less. And it was given to the coffers of the temple. And we read this coming week, and the reason we do that is because in ancient times, this was the time of the year that would start reminding people to do this tax, to do this mitzvah, and therefore to remember the times of the temple. We also read it this coming Shabbat. But when the Torah words this mitzvah, it says an interesting thing. God describes what this half a shekel is, and it says everyone should give specifically a half a shekel, which was a currency at the time. And then it says, Esrim Geira HaShekel. If you want to know exactly what a half a shekel is, look at a whole shekel. A whole shekel is made up of 20 Geira. Geira, again, was a smaller currency in that time. Which means, therefore, that a half a shekel is 10 Geira. Okay, now that sounds very technical, but actually, there's a very deep lesson here. One of the reasons that a half a shekel was given specifically half is for a person to understand that we're always just a half. We're never complete. We're never complete because we can always grow. We are never complete without another person. We are never complete without our connection to God. And we are never complete in general. We always understand that because we have a neshama, we have a soul. That soul is infinite. It's a piece. It's an infusion of godliness. We are always able to become better than we were yesterday. We're always able to improve. We're always able to grow. So we are always lacking. We're always only half, and that's why we give the Machatzit HaShekel. There's always another half that needs to complete the equation, but we're only the one half. The problem with that is that when a person always feels incomplete, we kind of despair a little bit. Like we have that feeling of deficiency, that feeling of incompleteness, imperfection. And therefore we might be tempted sort of not to put in the effort to achieve, because anyways, what I achieve is only half. So why should I work so hard? So the Torah tells us no. There's 2 concepts that can live together. A whole shekel is 20 geira, which means a half a shekel. Now remember, it's a half a shekel, which means incomplete. But the half a shekel is 10 geira. 10, on the other hand, the word number 10 in Judaism is a very complete number. We know the Torah tells us 10 is a holy number. But more importantly, in terms of ourselves, we know the soul is governed by 10 powers. 10 powers, which is 3 intellectual powers called Chokhmah, Bina, and Da'at. And then there's the 7 intellectual powers, the Chesed, the Gvura, love, discipline, truth, and so on, and so on and so forth. It's for another discussion to understand what they are. And although many of us are drawn towards one or another of our emotional makeup, in other words, we have a certain disposition, but yet we all contain the ability to express the 3 levels of intellect and all 7 components of emotion. And the Torah tells us, when you serve God, don't serve God as if you're half. Serve God in a complete way, meaning use every part of what you have. Use the wholeness of yourself. Use the 10 powers. Yes, you can feel half and complete at the same time. You can feel complete because you're using every part of the gift that God gave you, using all your faculties, all your emotions. You're bringing in every part of your human experience to become a better person, to be kind to other people, to make the world a better place. You're using every resource that you have. But at this, and that's okay. And there's a certain feeling of completeness with that. You're not leaving behind, you're not storing in memory a skill that you have, a talent that you possess, and not using it. No, God gave you 10 powers, use all 10. Use everything, use every resource that God gave to you. But also at the same time, and they go together, remember that there's always more to do. You're only half. Because what I do today is fantastic. There's a completeness, there's a wholeness about what I do today. But tomorrow I can go even further because my soul is infinite. My connection to a higher purpose is infinite. My soul is an infusion of godliness, and therefore it's an infusion of infinity. And therefore I can keep doing. So I have that feeling of, yes, I'm using every part of me, a feeling of wholeness, but at the same time I'm only half, and they do exist together. Let's meditate on this for a few moments. Let's try and understand and become aware of what we are and what we're trying to achieve. To become more focused and aware, close your eyes, relax, try and remove distraction, and focus on your breathing. Just build consciousness, build awareness. Focus on the rhythm of your breath, on the feeling of inhaling and exhaling, just for a few moments to bring our mind and bring our thoughts to a focused way. If you wonder, just gently and non-judgmentally bring your focus back to your breathing. Just breathe in and out. Notice every distinct breath. Feel the air fill your lungs. Feel the sensation of exhaling. Of course, our breathing, the neshima, is an expression of our soul. Think of your soul as you breathe, the source of your life, the machine that gives you vitality and energy. My soul has 10 powers. My soul has many components and many gifts. When I experience life meaningfully, purposefully, am I fully present? Am I using every part of my soul? Am I using the 10 Geira? Think of a moment, think of a relationship you have. Think of a kindness you did for someone else. Think of a spiritual experience. Are we distracted or are we fully there? Present with every part of our being, all 10 components. Are we feeling whole or are we feeling fragmented? Bringing every part of us into the equation gives us wholeness. Just think of something for a moment that you do wholeheartedly and think of that passion and that focus and calmness that it brings. Thinking of that feeling of wholeness, does that mean I'm complete? I am not. The wholeness is just a half. I can do more tomorrow. I can keep growing. My soul has an infusion of godliness. My soul is infinite. Just picture that for a moment. Just think of wholeness and halfness. They can coexist. I'm fully here, using every part of me, wholeness, but halfness, there's more to do. A very important daily lesson. Have a wonderful day, everyone.